Ladies and gentlemen, first we have suffered plague, now we are suffering war, but what is going to be coming next is a famine. Now, I've been trying to warn people about this. Many people thought that, I was just spreading doom and gloom, but now Biden finally admits that food shortages are coming. But China has been preparing for this situation and stockpiling food, so they're in the perfect situation, and maybe did they know what was going to be happening, like what we're seeing now with Russia and Ukraine, ahead of time, especially with their close ties with Russia. Well, everyone, it's definitely time to start paying attention and prepare now before it's too late. Okay, everybody, let's get into it. Look at this, everyone. China's pursuit of food security comes as crop conditions are set to be worse in history. It was no secret by 2021, China panic hoarded half of the world's maize and other grains, resulting in increased food inflation. And that's exactly right, everyone. I covered this topic in late 2021, and I said, what are they preparing for? Well, it seems to be pretty clear now. China's buying spree of all commodities left many market observers puzzled by Beijing's stockpiling motives. Now we understand the second largest economy in the world was forecasting a global catastrophe of widespread famine due to disrupted food supply chains. Global food supplies were already tight on a post-COVID basis due to snared supply chains and adverse weather conditions in key growing areas worldwide. The Ukraine invasion by Russia was a shock. It fractured global food supply chains and sent food prices to record highs, where the very risk shortages will materialize in emerging market economies dependent on the Eastern European country. And we can see on this chart here, food prices are now at all-time highs. And this is why Ukraine is so important with the global food supply. Ukraine is one of the world's largest agricultural exporters of corn and wheat. Before the invasion, Ukraine was the second largest supplier of grains for the European Union and one of the largest suppliers for emerging markets in Asia and Africa. Breaking down the numbers, Ukraine produced 49.6% of global sunflower oil, 10% of global wheat, 12.6% of global barley, and 15.3% of global maize. And this year's harvest will be severely reduced because of the war. And now the United Nations World Food Programme has a severe warning. Last week, the United Nations UN World Food Programme, WFP, warned that disruptions in Ukraine risk imminent famine and starvation in more places around the world. So it's pretty obvious now that Xi made the right decision by stockpiling food last year, and that's what I was trying to warn people to do as well, to get ahead of this inflation, but China still has a problem. Bloomberg City's Tang Region, China's agricultural minister, who warned that last year's record-breaking floods have sparked big difficulties with food production. And many farming experts and technicians told us that crop conditions this year could be the worst in history. And what this could lead to is countries that are rich in agriculture, they could begin to hoard their food as they see food shortages coming. And it's not just this that's leading to a food and hunger crisis, also what's happening with fertilizer and diesel right now. Look at this, fertilizer prices surge as Ukraine war cuts supply, leaving farmers shocked. And it's not just rising fertilizer costs that are hurting farmers, it's also the higher diesel costs they use to fuel their tractors, etc. All these input costs to create this food are stacking up, and it's going to lead to more food inflation. And like I said at the start of the video, of course, the government officials in the US are behind the curve, but now Joe Biden has just come out admitting that we are going to see food shortages coming. Listen to this, everyone. Biden says to expect real food shortages due to the Ukraine war. Well, of course, this is contributing to the issue, and it is making it worse. We were having rising food costs much before then the Russia and Ukraine war broke out. So this is just giving politicians a convenient excuse to blame on. President Biden said that the world will experience food shortages as a result of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and production increases were a subject of discussion at the Group of Seven meeting on Thursday. It's going to be real, Biden said at a news conference in Brussels. The price of sanctions is not just imposed upon Russia, it's imposed upon an awful lot of countries as well, including European countries and our country as well. And that's something I don't think many people were expecting. They're thinking that, oh yes, we're going to put sanction on Russia and it's going to hurt Russia and bring their economy down, which yes, it definitely is. But people, we are all going to pay the price for this war. We're going to pay for it at the pump, and we're now also going to pay for it with higher food costs. But you're probably wanting to know is, okay, well, what can we do about this, and how can we prepare and protect ourselves against a possible shortage that could be coming? Like I've been warning about, everyone, you need to have some extra food at home, because we've had a lot of peace and prosperity, and we've had a period of abundance, and people haven't really had to worry about there being food at the grocery store or not. But we saw what happened in the pandemic during 2020, when there was mass panic in the supermarkets. People began to fight with each other over food. Many nurses and doctors, they'll finish their shifts and there'll be no food left. So you definitely don't want to put yourself in that situation. And me personally, I hope there are no food shortages. I hope there is no famine. But I'm not going to be blind, and I'm going to prepare for whatever scenario. And for us investors, this can also save us money too. Because if food prices continue to go up, and for example, like what I'm seeing now, prices increasing by at least 20% year over year, if you buy your food now, well then you're getting a guaranteed return of 15 to 20%, which could be even higher than the returns you could get in the S&P 500 ETF. So everyone, this was just a quick urgent update. I'm not trying to spread all doom and gloom here. If you are prepared, you got nothing to fear. And if you're prepared now, if we do have food shortages and you've got that long supply of food, you'll have nothing to worry about. And it'll also save you a lot of money. Now, for all my loyal viewers and subscribers still watching, you're awesome. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.